Have you ever wondered why small things ruin your entire day? A rude comment, a bad meeting, a single post online, and suddenly, your peace is gone. You replay it in your head, again and again, as if pain itself had the right to rent space in your mind. 2,000 years ago, a man who once lived as a slave, Epictetus, asked a question that still cuts deep today. Why do you allow things you cannot control to control you? He didn't have social media. He didn't have a smartphone buzzing every 10 minutes. But he understood something most of us still don't. That peace isn't found in the world around you. It's created inside you. And in this video, you'll discover 10 timeless Stoic principles from Epictetus that will help you stay calm, grounded, and unshakable, no matter what chaos surrounds you. Because at the end, I'll reveal the real reason why most people fail to protect their peace. Even when they think they've mastered Stoicism, stay till the end. This might just change how you see every challenge in your life. Every day, we wake up to a storm of noise, emails, notifications, breaking news, expectations. You barely open your eyes before the world demands your attention. It tells you what to fear, what to desire, what to be angry about, and somewhere in that chaos, you lose yourself. You start reacting instead of thinking, scrolling instead of living, comparing instead of growing. This isn't weakness. It's the reality of a distracted world. Our minds weren't built to handle constant stimulation, endless opinions, and invisible pressure from strangers. That's why the teachings of Stoicism feel more urgent than ever. Epictetus lived centuries ago, yet his voice echoes louder today than it did in ancient Rome, because what he taught wasn't just philosophy, it was survival. He believed that peace isn't an accident, it's a discipline, and when the world becomes unbearable, discipline becomes freedom. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about learning which emotions deserve your energy. It teaches you to separate what's within your control from what's not, and to stop bleeding energy on things you can't change. Epictetus didn't teach theory. He taught resilience. He told his students, "No man is free who is not master of himself," in a society addicted to outrage and validation. That truth cuts through the noise like a blade. Today, being stoic doesn't mean being cold or detached. It means staying calm when others lose their minds. It means keeping your dignity when the world tries to provoke you. It means learning to act, not react. And in a world where everything is designed to steal your attention, that's nothing less than rebellion. In this video, we'll explore 10 Stoic principles from Epictetus that can transform the way you handle chaos, disappointment, and fear. Each principle is a step toward inner strength, a quiet armor against modern madness. You'll see how these lessons apply not to ancient Rome, but to you, your career, your relationships, your peace of mind. From learning to control your reactions, to finding calm in the face of insults, to discovering the quiet power of acceptance, this journey will give you tools that outlast every storm. So stay with me until the end, because what you'll hear next isn't just ancient wisdom. It's a way to reclaim your mind in a world that profits from stealing it. Principle 1. Control what you can. Release what you can. Think about how much time we spend worrying. Traffic, deadlines, other people's opinions. We try to plan, predict, and prevent every possible outcome. And yet, Life always finds a way to surprise us. You prepare perfectly for a job interview, and someone else gets the offer. You try to keep peace in your home, and someone still finds a reason to argue. You stay healthy, cautious, careful, and still, things fall apart. Epictetus understood this frustration better than anyone. He said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." The first half of wisdom, he believed, is learning to tell the difference. Most of our suffering comes not from reality, but from fighting it. We demand control where we have none, and the more we grip what isn't ours to hold, the more it hurts. When you truly understand what's within your control, your actions, your choices, your responses, something changes inside you. You stop trying to control the weather and start preparing for the rain. You stop trying to change people and start mastering your own patience. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop wasting your care. Because caring about what you can't change isn't compassion, it's exhaustion. Epictetus taught that serenity is born the moment you stop arguing with reality. Peace doesn't come from getting what you want. It comes from aligning your will with what is. When you no longer demand life to obey you, life stops feeling like an enemy. It becomes a teacher, sometimes harsh, but always honest. Imagine checking your phone less. Not because you gave up, but because you've decided to stop giving every headline and notification power over your mood. Imagine walking through chaos and realizing none of it truly belongs to you. That's what Epictetus meant by freedom. Not the ability to control everything, but the ability to stay calm when you can't. Try this before reacting to something stressful. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If yes, act. If no, release it. It's simple, but not easy, because peace isn't passive. It's a choice made every day, in small moments, again and again. So start there. Take back your energy from what doesn't belong to you. Because once you stop trying to control the world, you finally begin to control yourself. You post something online, a thought, a photo, a piece of yourself, and someone leaves a careless comment. You tell yourself it doesn't matter, but deep down, it does. You replay their words, imagining what they meant, as if your worth depends on how a stranger interprets your life. We've all been there, and that's exactly what Epictetus warned against 2,000 years ago. If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish or stupid. In other words, stop expecting the world to understand your journey. They don't live your story. They don't carry your pain. When your peace depends on their approval, you've handed them the keys to your mind. You've built a prison, and you're both the inmate and the guard. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you no longer need validation to act with integrity. He reminded his students, when you're doing something good, don't look for applause, because the moment you do, your motive shifts. You are no longer doing it for truth. You're doing it for attention. Think about how many choices we make just to avoid judgment. We stay quiet when we should speak. We pretend to be fine when we're not. We chase what looks successful instead of what feels right. But here's the paradox. When you stop chasing approval, you become someone truly worth respecting. Authenticity is magnetic, not because everyone loves it, but because it's rare, and the few who recognize it will stand closer, while the rest quietly fade away. So how do you apply this in real life? Start by asking, would I still do this if no one ever knew? If the answer is yes, you're free. Don't let applause make you confident, and don't let silence make you doubt. What others think of you says more about them than it ever will about you. Epictetus was laughed at, ignored, and dismissed, but his peace never depended on anyone's opinion. That's why his words survived empires. So the next time someone disrespects you or misunderstands you, don't rush to defend yourself. Just smile, let them reveal their character while you protect your calm. Because when your value no longer depends on external approval, you don't just earn freedom, you embody it. Principle 3. Accept discomfort as a teacher. Everyone wants to grow, but no one wants to suffer. We say we crave discipline, resilience, and strength. Yet we avoid every situation that forges them. We quit the gym when it hurts. We escape conversations that challenge us. We numb ourselves when life gets uncomfortable. But pain, as Epictetus saw it, isn't punishment. It's preparation. He believed life gives you exactly the weight you need to build the muscle of the mind. He said, difficulties show what men are. Every challenge reveals the truth about you, not to shame you, but to show you where you still need to grow. If you never struggle, you never discover your strength. The goal isn't to love pain, it's to learn from it. Imagine life as a teacher, and every hardship as a lesson plan. Most of us skip class. We complain about the subject instead of studying the material. When you lose something, fail, or feel humiliated, ask, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's teaching patience. Maybe it's teaching humility. Maybe it's teaching you to stop seeking comfort from people who drain you. Epictetus himself endured slavery, poverty, and ridicule. Yet he never called himself a victim. He saw adversity as his greatest instructor, and every wound became wisdom because he refused to waste his pain. If you can look at your struggle and whisper, teach me, then every obstacle becomes an ally. You no longer suffer for nothing. The next time life feels heavy, don't rush to escape. Sit with it, listen, ask what this moment is shaping within you. Maybe it's strengthening your patience. Maybe it's building the endurance your future self will need. Discomfort, when faced consciously, becomes transformation. It breaks the illusion of fragility. It teaches you that peace isn't the absence of pain. It's the ability to face it with composure. Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly. That includes strength. That includes peace. So don't fear discomfort. Fear a life so soft that nothing challenges you anymore. Because a mind that never faces resistance will never learn how strong it can truly be. Principle 4. You are not your thoughts. Have you ever noticed how your mind never stops talking? It judges, imagines, worries, rewrites conversations that never happened. It pulls you into stories, and you forget they're just stories. Epictetus warned against mistaking thoughts for truth. He believed the mind is like a wild horse, powerful, but dangerous if you never learn to ride it. He said, it's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it that matters. Yet most of us never question that interpretation. We feel anxious, so we think something must be wrong. We feel jealous, so we assume someone's better than us. We feel sad, so we believe we're broken. But feelings aren't facts. They're weather patterns passing through your consciousness. The problem begins when you build a house inside the storm. The Stoics taught something deeply modern: awareness without attachment. When a thought rises, I'm not enough, they don't respect me, I'll never make it, You don't have to wrestle with it. You simply watch it. Epictetus believed that observing a thought gives you power over it. The moment you can say, "There's anger," instead of "I am angry," you've already taken the first step toward mastery. It's like standing beside a river instead of drowning in it. The water still flows, but you are no longer swept away. Try this today. When a negative thought appears, don't argue, observe. Give it space. Watch it fade. You'll realize most thoughts die quickly when you stop feeding them attention. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. That quiet observer inside you has no fear, no shame, no ego, only clarity. Epictetus lived by this truth. He knew the mind will always generate noise, but wisdom is choosing what to listen to. He said, "When you are disturbed by external things, it is not the things themselves that trouble you, but your judgment about them. So when you feel overwhelmed, don't try to silence your mind. Just step back and remember who's watching. The goal isn't to have no thoughts. It's to no longer be enslaved by them. When you master this, even chaos feels quiet. And in that silence, that brief gap between thought and response, you will find the freedom Epictetus spoke of, the power to remain still, even when your mind is loud. Principle 5. Practice detachment from outcome. You give your all. At work, in love, in every goal. But deep down, there's always a whisper. What if I fail? That fear poisons effort with anxiety, turning even noble goals into chains. Epictetus saw this clearly. He taught, do your duty, let the outcome be, because obsession with results steals the joy of action itself. We think we're chasing success, but often we're just running from disappointment. We attach our self-worth to results we can't fully control. A promotion, a response, a number. And when those results don't come, we crumble. But the Stoic way is different. Focus on what you can do with excellence and honesty. Then release the rest, not out of apathy, but out of wisdom. Detachment doesn't mean carelessness. It means purity of intention. It's the athlete who trains for mastery, not medals. The artist who creates for a truth, not applause. When you pour yourself into the process, every day becomes meaningful, regardless of what follows. Because the moment you fixate on the finish line, you stop enjoying the race. Epictetus said, when you have done what you can, be content. That's not laziness, it's alignment. You've done your part. The rest belongs to fate, chance, or time. Modern life tells us that worth equals outcome. Stoicism reminds us that worth equals effort aligned with virtue. And virtue, not victory, is what endures. When you detach from outcomes, you become untouchable. Praise can't inflate you. Failure can't break you. You stay steady, like a mountain in a storm. This mindset changes everything. You interview without fear. You love without possession. You create without needing validation. You begin to see that peace isn't found in winning. It's found in showing up fully. Regardless of what happens next, Epictetus would say, act your rule well. But remember, you don't write the script. That's the universe's job. So do your work. Live with intention. And when the outcome arrives, whether success or setback, greet it the same way, with gratitude, not attachment, because detachment isn't losing interest. It's gaining peace. Principle 6. Choose response, not reactions. Cuts you off in traffic. A coworker slides your idea into their deck. A stranger's comment online gets under your skin. Your body fires first, shoulders tighten, jaw clenches, a comeback loads on your tongue. That flash is the battlefield Epictetus trained us for. He taught that events themselves are neutral. Our judgments make them heavy. Between stimulus and response is a sliver of time most people never see, but it's where character lives. Reaction is gravity. It pulls you down to the level of the moment. Response is flight. It lifts you to the level of your values. When you react, you outsource control of your inner state to whatever just happened. When you respond, you reclaim authorship. You say, I will decide what this means. I will decide who I am here. That doesn't make you passive. It makes you precise. The world will keep presenting traps, provocations, misunderstandings, little injustices. Your freedom is measured by how often you can notice the trap, breathe, and still choose the person you intend to be. Modern psychology calls it the pause, but the Stoics practiced it daily. A feeling surges: anger, fear, humiliation. Instead of denying it or exploding, you name it. There is anger. You've shifted from actor to observer. That micro-distance cools the reflex. One deep breath widens the gap. A second breath lets your prefrontal cortex come back online. Now you can ask better questions. What's the goal? What response protects my peace and moves this forward? The pause is not weakness. It's a force multiplier. It prevents one bad moment from becoming a bad day, then a broken relationship, then a story you regret telling yourself for years. Practically, build rituals. Don't send heat of the moment emails. Draft. Wait 10 minutes, then review. When a text stings, stand up, get water, and only reply when your body softens. In meetings, if you're cornered, say, let me reflect, and circle back. The pause is a shield for your dignity and a compass for wise action. It buys you time, the most valuable asset during emotional storms. Every provocation presents two roads. One is short, loud, and easy: ego, sarcasm, escalation. The other is quieter and longer: purpose, clarity, proportion. Epictetus would have you ask, does this serve my character? Does it secure my peace? If not, let it pass. Refusing to react isn't suppression, it's selection. You're curating your energy toward outcomes you actually want. This is how you become unmanipulable in a world engineered to hijack your attention. Algorithms profit when you rage-click. Gossip thrives when you bite. Petty power wins when you descend. Choose not to descend. Respond with boundaries, not bitterness. That doesn't work for me. Respond with facts, not flames. Here's what I observe and what I'm requesting. Respond with exit, not ego. Walk away when the game is designed for you to lose. The goal isn't to be silent, it's to be sovereign. Let your responses be few, clean, decisive. Over time, people learn. Your buttons can't be pushed, your day can't be stolen, and your standards can't be negotiated. That's Stoic strength, visible without a single raised voice. Principle 7. Learn from insults. Insults cut deeper than we admit. They echo long after they're spoken, sometimes louder than praise ever does. A stranger's comment, a coworker's sarcasm, a family member's judgment. They stick, not because of the words, but because of the meaning we attach to them. Epictetus warned us centuries ago. When someone insults you, remember, it is their opinion, not your reality. But that's easier said than lived. Our pride wants to fight, to prove, to crack the record. Yet every reaction ties us tighter to the offender. We hand them our peace, like coins to a thief. What if, instead, you treated every insult as a mirror, one that reveals not who you are, but what still triggers you? If a comment about your intelligence angers you, maybe it's touching an insecurity. If criticism about your worth hurts, maybe you've tied it too closely to others' validation. The Stoic doesn't fear insults. He studies them. He asks, why did that sting? Because each answer is a clue to greater freedom. When someone insults you, you're witnessing a confession. Theirs, not yours. An insult reveals their mood, their wounds, their level of awareness. It says, this is how I see the world right now. You can learn a lot from it, if you calm enough to observe. Epictetus said, if someone tells you you're a donkey, you don't have to be angry. Simply look at yourself. If you're not, laugh. That's radical composure. You don't resist, you reflect. Most people use insults as weapons. The Stoic uses them as training weights. Every verbal jab becomes an opportunity to strengthen restraint. The more you practice, the lighter the sting feels, until one day, it barely registers, and when that happens, you realize the insult never had power. Your reaction did. So next time someone mocks you, don't rush to defend yourself. Ask, is it true? If yes, improve. If no, ignore. Either way, you win, because the insult has already served its purpose. It made you wiser, not wounded. There's a quiet dignity in refusing to be dragged into someone else's storm. When you stop responding to provocation, you start radiating control. You stop being predictable, and that unnerves those who thrive on reaction. Epictetus lived in a world where slaves were mocked, philosophers were ridiculed, and anger was cheap. Yet he mastered serenity. He said, no one can harm you unless you consent. To consent is to let their words define your worth. To decline is to stay sovereign. Practically, when insulted, don't rehearse the pain. Don't replay it in your mind. Picture yourself standing in a stream. Their words are leaves floating by. You notice them, but you don't chase them. That is Stoic invincibility. Not hardness, but stillness. You don't rise above insults by building walls. You rise above them by no longer living at their altitude. Let them shout from the ground. You walk in silence at your own height, because the most powerful response to disrespect isn't revenge. It's self-mastery. And once you learn that, no insult can ever touch you again. Principle 8. Keep your inner peace amid chaos everywhere you look. The world screams for your attention. News headlines, endless arguments online, deadlines, opinions, noise. It's not just external, it gets inside you. Your chest tightens, your thoughts speed up. You scroll more, think less, sleep worse. Epictetus lived through wars, slavery, and political unrest. Yet his mind stayed still. He knew peace wasn't something you found. It was something you built, thought by thought. He said, no man is free who is not master of himself. We think chaos is around us, but often it's inside us, created by constant reaction. The Stoic answer is not withdrawal. It's discipline. It's learning to stand in the storm without letting it enter you. Peace isn't the absence of noise. It's the decision not to let the noise own you. When you realize that, the world may stay loud, But your soul grows quiet. To keep your peace, you must build it deliberately, like a fortress of habits. Each wall is made of choices: what you read, who you spend time with, where you place your attention. Epictetus would call this mental quarantine. He believed that, just as we protect our bodies from poison, we must guard our minds from toxic influences. That doesn't mean isolation. It means discernment. You can still listen, still care, still engage. But you no longer absorb everything. Peace isn't passive. It's protected. It's created every time you choose presence over panic, restraint over reaction, simplicity over excess. Start with the basics. Take walks without your phone. Limit news intake. Breathe before replying. Journal when the noise inside grows too loud. Every small act of awareness is a break in your fortress. And the more you build, the less the world can shake you. Picture a hurricane. Winds tearing, waves crashing. Yet in the center, there's stillness. That's the Stoic mind. Calm not because the world is calm, but because it's anchored. Epictetus taught that peace isn't given. It's earned through perspective. He said, circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him. When life feels unbearable, that's your invitation to practice composure. Modern life won't get quieter. The noise will only grow. So, instead of waiting for a calm, become calm. When everyone around you panics, breathe. When the world shouts, listen inwardly. When you lose control of events, remember, control your focus. That's what separates a Stoic from the crowd. They walk through chaos like through rain, aware, unafraid, unshaken. And when people ask, how can you stay so calm? You smile, because you know, peace was never out there. It was inside you all along. You just stopped letting the storm borrow it. Principle 9. Gratitude as resistance. Live inside a marketplace of comparison. Every scroll is a silent auction for your attention. Newer, richer, prettier, louder. You begin the day feeling fine and end it feeling behind, as if life is a race you didn't know you entered. Epictetus saw the trap without a single scream. He taught that misery is often a perception error, the habit of measuring life by what is missing instead of what remains. He is wise, the teaching goes, who rejoices in what he has, not because he denies hardship, but because he refuses to let absence define reality. Gratitude is not naive positivity. It is disciplined seeing. It says, before I chase more, let me notice the miracles already here. Air moving into my lungs without permission needed. Clean water, a warm room, the voice of someone who loves me, the ability to learn and start again. These are not background details. They are the stage on which every good thing stands. When you practice gratitude, you're not ignoring problems. You're strengthening yourself to meet them. Fear shrinks, envy fades, your nervous system settles. You act from sufficiency, not scarcity. And that shift matters, because a mind anchored in enough cannot be bullied by a world built on never enough. Stoic gratitude is active training, not a mood you wait for. It uses tools. The first is negative visualization. Briefly imagine losing what you love, your health, your work, the friend who texts you at midnight when life feels heavy. Not to suffer, but to sharpen appreciation. Then open your eyes to the ordinary and feel how extraordinary it is. The second tool is voluntary simplicity. Occasionally choose the lesser option. A simpler meal, a slower commute, a day without buying, You discover how little you truly need to be okay, and dependency on excess loosens its grip. The third is a daily inventory. Each night, write 3 specific gratitudes tied to actions, not abstractions. I'm grateful for my partner becomes I'm grateful she made tea when I looked tired. Specificity grows roots. Epictetus would also remind you to hold things lightly. Enjoy the cup, but remember it's clay. This isn't detachment from love. It's intimacy with reality. When you accept impermanence, presence deepens. You stop half-living today while bargaining with an imaginary tomorrow. Try this rhythm for 1 week. Morning visualization 2 minutes. Midday simplicity 1 small choice. Evening inventory 3 specific lines. You will notice more, want less, and carry yourself with a quieter confidence. The kind that doesn't need proof. Cynicism is fashionable because it costs nothing. Gratitude is unfashionable because it demands courage. The courage to name goodness in an imperfect world. Epictetus endured chains, mockery, scarcity. What he would not endure was the loss of inner freedom. Gratitude was his strategy. You cannot steal my ability to bless what remains. In practice, gratitude breaks 3 modern traps. Manipulation. Advertisements fail when you already feel full. Envy. You stop keeping score and start keeping promises to yourself. Fear. You remember how many storms you've already survived and draw strength from the evidence. Make it public sometimes. Tell a colleague, I appreciated how you clarified the meeting. Thank the barista by name. Text your sibling a memory that still makes you smile. Gratitude spreads dignity, and dignity is contagious. When chaos hits, your list of blessings becomes a rope you can hold. You won't avoid pain, but you will refuse despair. That refusal is a kind of rebellion, a quiet no to the culture of outrage. And here is the paradox Epictetus knew. The more grateful you become, the more capable you are of change. Because you're no longer fixing life from emptiness, you're improving it from strength. Principle 10. Remember you will die. Memento Mori. We avoid the topic of death like it's bad luck. We fill our calendars, chase our goals, buy time with distractions, anything to forget that time is running out. But Epictetus believed that remembering death wasn't morbid. It was liberating. He said, I cannot escape death, but I can escape the fear of it. Memento Mori. Remember you will die is not about darkness. It's about clarity. When you remember that every moment is borrowed, you start treating it with reverence. Petty arguments lose importance. Procrastination feels absurd. You stop waiting for the right time to love, to forgive, to start. Imagine living each day as if it were your last. Not recklessly, but consciously. You choose presence over distraction, honesty over pretense, gratitude over complaint. You'd see that most of what drains you isn't worth the energy at all. Death is not the enemy. For the Stoic, it's the teacher that whispers, you are temporary. Make that truth beautiful. When you truly understand that, you stop fearing endings and start creating beginnings that matter. Epictetus taught his students to contemplate mortality daily, not to despair, but to focus. He believed that awareness of death brings a radical kind of peace, the end of trivial worries and the beginning of meaningful action. Think about how much of our anxiety comes from illusions of permanence, jobs, relationships, possessions, even youth. We cling to them as if they'll last forever. But when you accept impermanence, you become free to live authentically. Memento Mori reminds you that the clock is ticking, But that's not a threat, it's a gift. You start measuring life by depth, not duration. 10 minutes of true connection outweighs 10 years of superficial existence. A single honest conversation can matter more than 1,000 polite ones, Epictetus said. Let death and exile and all other things which appear dreadful be daily before your eyes. Because when you carry mortality in your pocket, you carry perspective. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I never try? Remembering death is what teaches you how to live fully. Not someday, but now. When you realize you will die, you begin to see how precious it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to love. Everything ordinary becomes sacred. You stop chasing endless more and start asking, what matters? Epictetus never feared death because he had already made peace with life. He said, when the time comes for you to leave this world, go as though you were returning home. That's the essence of Memento Mori. To live so completely that death finds nothing left and undone. So how do you practice it without melancholy? First, reflect each morning. If this were my last sunrise, how would I spend it? Second, forgive faster. The grudges we carry weigh heavier than the years we lose. Third, create something that outlives you. Kindness, art, a lesson, an example. Memento Mori doesn't tell you life is short. It tells you life is urgent. It teaches courage. Because when you accept the end, you stop holding back at the beginning. You speak truth when it matters. You love without calculation. You act without delay. And when your final moment comes, you'll know you didn't just exist, you lived with purpose. You turned mortality into meaning. You've walked through 10 Stoic principles, 10 small torches lighting the path to calm in a restless world. They began as philosophy, but they end as tools for living. Epictetus taught us first to control what we can and release what we can't, freeing our minds from the chaos of endless worry. He showed that other people's opinions are just echoes, not definitions, and that discomfort is a teacher, not a punishment. He reminded us that our thoughts are clouds, not cages, and that real power comes when we learn to watch, not drown. He urged us to detach from outcomes, to give our best without surrendering peace to success or failure. He taught the discipline to respond instead of react, and the humility to learn from insults without being owned by them. He showed us how to keep still amid noise, to build inner quiet that the world can't steal. And finally, he left us with gratitude as resistance and Memento Mori, the ultimate reminder that life's fragility is what makes it sacred. Each lesson is simple, but together they form an armor, invisible, silent, and stronger than anything the modern world can shake loose. These teachings were born in an empire of marble and sand, but they fit perfectly inside the steel and glass of our cities today. Epictetus never imagined social media, traffic, deadlines, or burnout, yet his wisdom anticipates them all, because the human mind hasn't changed. Only the noise has multiplied, and when everything around us speeds up, Stoicism invites us to slow down, to look inward before reacting outward. The Stoic path isn't about isolation or emotionless detachment. It's about engagement without enslavement. It's about walking into chaos with the calm of someone who knows exactly what they stand for. In practice, this means small, quiet acts of mastery, choosing to breathe before speaking, pausing before posting, saying no without guilt, doing your work well even when no one's watching, sitting in silence long enough to hear your own thoughts again. This is the true rebellion, not against society, but against the part of you that keeps forgetting you're already enough. And when you live like this, you stop surviving and start creating peace wherever you go. Stoicism doesn't promise a life without storms. It teaches you how to become the stillness inside them, when you can look at chaos and say, "This does not control me." You're already free. When you stop chasing approval, fearing loss, or trying to bend life to your will, you start living with the same serenity the ancients spoke of. Epictetus would smile at your struggle today, not out of pity, but recognition. He'd remind you that the same fire that burned in him burns in you, that every setback is a forge, that peace is not found in escape, but in entrance. So carry these 10 principles not as commandments, but as companions. Let them walk beside you when mornings feel heavy and nights feel uncertain. Let them remind you that even when the world spins out of control, your soul doesn't have to follow, because in the end, the goal of Stoicism isn't perfection, it's perspective. It's not about becoming untouchable, but unbroken. And if you can master that, you'll realize something profound. You don't need the world to calm down for you to be at peace. You only need to remember, the calm has been within you all along. If there's one thing I hope you carry from this journey, it's this: you don't need a quiet world to have a quiet mind. The chaos won't stop. People will still misunderstand you. Plans will still collapse. You'll still lose things. Sometimes people, sometimes dreams, sometimes yourself. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. Epictetus lived in chains and yet remained freer than most of us scrolling through endless freedom. He proved that control doesn't begin with power. It begins with perception. And peace isn't something you find. It's something you practice. Every single day offers you 100 chances to do just that. When you pause before reacting, when you stay kind in a conversation designed to provoke you, when you choose gratitude over complaint, when you remember, this moment will not come again. That's Stoicism. Not ancient marble statues or quotes for social media, but living philosophy. Real, grounded, practiced in silence, tested in pain, proven in action. And if you fail sometimes, good. You're supposed to. That's how wisdom takes root. Not through perfection, but persistence. Each time you return to calm, you make it easier to find again. Each moment of stillness is a victory over the noise. So as you close this video, remember the question from the beginning: why let things you can't control you? You now know you don't have to, because the most unshakable person in any room isn't the loudest or the strongest. It's the one who chooses peace when everyone else chooses reaction. And if this message helped you find even a moment of that peace, then take a second to support this work. Like the video, subscribe to StoicCraft, and share it with someone who needs a quiet reminder that calm is still possible. This channel isn't about ancient philosophy. It's about modern freedom. And the more of us who learn to live with calm minds in a chaotic world, the quieter, wiser, and stronger this world becomes. So, walk gently, act deliberately, and when life tests you again, remember, peace was never something to chase. It was something to return to.